So I have been sitting outside in the elements, and it is a good 81 degrees here today in Tennessee, and it's kind of cloudy, and the sun was starting to peek through, and where I was sitting got really hot. And I don't know if you could see, like, my arm has like this redness to it where my skin starts having kind of that reaction to the sun. But look at my chest and my neck. So this is from using that hemp cream, the original number 12, and I don't think it's picking up on here. There's really like nothing. I have like a little bit of discoloration because that's just, I'm a human, but you could see where the sun was actually on my arm, especially on this one. It made me itch. It got a little inflamed. I got red, but chest and neck wise, nope. So far, so good. Okay, so as soon as I made that video, because I jumped in my car really quick, and I'm at Whole Foods, it's really busy here. I didn't have any air on in my car, and when I got in the car, it was warm, and so I immediately, and I felt rushed because there's like a ton of like people trying to get into a place here, and I'm in like really good parking spot. So anyway, I started to feel a little pressured, and I got really hot because the car was hot, and I noticed that, I don't know if you can see it, but I did start to kind of flush a little bit up my sides of my neck and on the front of my neck, and I was like, let me turn the camera on really quick so you can see it. But it started going away almost immediately, and my arms are still itching like crazy from when I was sitting in the sun. They're still super itchy, but like none of this, even when I felt like, oh, I feel like I'm getting warm, this is normally a time when I would get flushed, and I looked at myself, it was like a light pink, and it just started going away as soon as I pulled out of the spot and turned my air on. So yeah, I see it like cleared up almost immediately, but again, my arms are still red and itchy from being, like, forever ago I was sitting in the sun. So there's no cream on my arms, none of the CBD hemp oil on my arms, and I definitely feel the difference. Crazy. Recently I was thinking about something that happened a few years ago when one of my friends started working with me at a company I was working at. So it was an office environment, and she has these sleeve tattoos all over her arm. That's what a sleeve tattoo is. And the first interview that she came there, it was for like a front office position. And the first interview that she came to, she had on like heels and this long blazer and that covered her arms. And she did her interview, and I think things went well, you know. And then later she came back for her second interview, and I remember this has always stood out to me for a year since it happened. She had on like these flat shoes that were just like these red flat shoes. She looked really nice and professional, and then she had on a short sleeve shirt, and the short sleeves showed the tattoos all over her arms. And I said, oh, we're showing the sleeves today. And she said, you know, I just need them to see it, because I need them to know now what is part of me, and I'm not going to cover this up the whole time that I work here. I want them to see it now and make the decision on whether or not they want me or not, because I'm not taking these away, and I'm not going to cover them up. It's just not what I'm going to do. It's just who I am. And I remember thinking like, wow, that's bold. And she risks not getting this job because it is a professional setting, and she's showing her sleeve tattoos. But it always stood out. She did get the job, by the way. She got the job, and she was fantastic at the job. She's one of like the best workers I've ever met in my life. So regardless of her tattoos, regardless of what was on her body, it had nothing to do with her actual work ethic and who she is as a person. It's just an expression, a creative outlet for her. It's just a part of her. It's not all of who she is. And so I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because I was thinking about how, you know, with blushing and flushing, this is who we are, not in the sense of we turn red, but it's part of us, and we need to be able to show ourselves regardless. And yes, there's a time and place for showing up and covering up, or maybe even moving away from some of that redness, and then there's a time to just let it be. And I think a lot of us are working through the mental side of, I cannot show up like that, and I get it. But there's also times when we're in that sense of courage and bravery that we have to show up as ourselves. I'm not even just talking about redness. I'm talking about fully as you are, who you are, showing up. And if people want to reject that, they can reject it. That's just part of life. I think we're trying to really protect ourselves and guard ourselves from that rejection, from that judgment. But when you have that boldness and that courage, even though it's scary, to show up and say, I want you to see right now who I am, so that if you don't like that and you don't want that, you can make that decision right now. And so I just honor her and just want to share that story with you today, because that is so true. It is something I think that's very beneficial for all of us to hear, that I'm going to show up as I am. Somebody recently shared a comment on one of my videos. I think it was the video of, can you have a successful career if you're a blusher, or if you deal with erythrophobia? And they shared that they had gone through a performance review, and their manager shared with them that one of the reasons that they were not allowing them to advance in their career was because they turn red, and that nervousness makes everybody really uncomfortable. And so they weren't able to put this individual in a position to be able to elevate beyond where they were. And it broke my heart to read that, because I know that that is a reality for some people. But I do want to add, you may be in a position where you are not going to get elevated because people think you seem too nervous, or you don't seem confident enough because you turn red, or because you have some social anxiety. Don't let that stop you, because the thing is, I know when I talked to Russell in regards to his book Red Face, he has had a very successful career, and he also has dealt with a lot of erythrophobia and social anxiety, and even still was able to advance in his career and even create his own opportunity to grow and to be a business owner for himself. And so yes, you may have a boss who thinks that you don't look the part, but maybe that's not the boss for you. Maybe you need to have another boss, and maybe that means you need to leave the comfort of what you already know and put yourself in a position to have a new opportunity with people that see you beyond the redness, because there's always going to be people judging us for one thing or another. And if redness is part of that judgment, they can't see past the redness, and you want the opportunity to advance. Let them see you for who you are and make a decision very quickly whether you need to be in that environment any longer. So that is my, quick story for you today, that, listen, I mean, I'm just chatting with you, and I'm getting some flushing going on right now because it's actually hot in my car. I'm not nervous to talk to you on camera. I'm by myself. Nobody is even looking at me or paying me any attention. And this is just part of who I am for now. And if this is with me for the rest of my life, that's okay too. I just gave some updates about how the CBD cream is helping, and it is helping. Like, this will flush and it will start to go away more quickly than usual, but it didn't take it away completely at this moment. And I think there's something to be said for that. See, like right now, I'm actually just very passionate about telling you that you're more than your redness. And it makes me so angry that a person who is in charge of somebody's career told them that basically they're not good enough, or they can't be in that certain position because they don't look the part. I know that just further reinforces the insecurity, and like, see, I knew it. I cannot advance because of this condition. But you can. And it may not be easy. Just like anything else in life is not going to be easy. When did we ever think things were supposed to be easy? I don't understand where we got that idea, or how we've come to think that things are supposed to always work out. It's nice when they do. It's nice when we're not struggling and when things are working out. But that's not going to be all the time. Up to this point in your life, you have overcome every obstacle that's ever been put in front of you. If you are hearing my voice, then you have, at this point, you have 100% success rate of overcoming the obstacles that are in front of you. So why would you fail now? It might be difficult. You might have to put more effort in. You might have to feel all sorts of uncomfortable emotions, get in the pit for a little bit, and then rise back up, just like a phoenix, just like a blushing phoenix. Rise back up from those ashes. It's not going to be linear. It's not always going to be easy. When it's easy, appreciate that, but it's not always going to be that way. So do like my friend Jess. Show up as you are. Show the parts of yourself that you are so afraid and terrified that will cause you to be rejected, that will cause you to lose opportunities. I'm not saying you won't. I'm not saying you won't be rejected and you won't lose opportunities. You probably will here and there. But think about when you are accepted. First of all, think about your bravery of just showing up regardless of rejection. Think about your acceptance of yourself, being able to show up knowing that rejection is on the line. I mean, at the end of the day, are we not all just really wanting to authentically be ourselves? And if authentically being myself means that I'm gonna look like this from time to time and not always have a reason why that's happening, why I'm feeling that way, why I'm looking that way, that's freedom. And I think at the end of the day, what our solution is, what actually will get rid of redness, is us reaching that point of freedom. Because then in our mind, it will not be that big of a deal. Not saying it won't be a big deal to people around us, it won't be a big deal to us. And therefore that thought will become our reality. So from one red-flushed person to another, show up as you. Keep getting back up. Be willing to show up fully as yourself, even if the risk of rejection and judgment sits on the other side. Don't betray yourself anymore. Everybody, it is another day and I just finished having lunch, doing a little bit of work, and I'm needing to go pick my son up from school, and I noticed that I was feeling a little flushed. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, there's a little bit of flushing going on. It just happened a few minutes ago and then it was almost gone by the time I had the opportunity to actually turn my camera on. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it right there. But it was almost gone completely by the time I turned my camera on. So another day that I'm sharing that this is the area where I have been putting the CBD and hemp seed oil from the original number 12 formula. And still, the opportunity to turn red is there. My skin is still flushing. You know how I am. It's like sometimes I know why, sometimes I don't know why, but my body just doing what my body does. And, you know, having lunch, preparing to go get my kid from school, trying to wrap some things up. It's not so much about why it's happening, it's about that it just did. And so my point here is that I've been using the original number 12 cream, and it gets going and it flares a little bit and it seems to calm down a lot faster. So far, that is my verdict about using the original number 12 in the morning. And remember, I put it on at night as well. The more, the better, I think. So this is the results today. No flushing, things that have happened. I haven't been really social today either, but just noticed that I was eating, I flushed, and by the time I even got my camera on, it was pretty much gone. So just keeping you posted. All right, so this is week 3 of using the original number 12's hemp seed and CBD oil cream. And I just wanted to point out that it's 90 degrees outside. It's burning up in my car right now. I just came out of the work building, walked across the parking lot, sun is beaming down, and this is what we're dealing with. I'm not all flushed up, and I find that really interesting. And I actually just got through talking to a couple of friends, and having some laughs and joking about things. Really warm in the environment that we were in, and no flushing. So again, not claiming that it has stopped the flushing altogether, but definitely has created a positive impact with the reduction of the flushing, because I'm looking at myself now. I mean, just like the other video, the same situation, except it's a hotter day. And I've been using the product now for 3 weeks, and we're doing good.